श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। ॐ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं वन्दे तं सच्चिदानन्दं यतिवर्यं महामतिं वेदान्तसारग्नं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं श्रीगुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहं सद्गुरुं सच्चिदानन्दं साधुवर्यं सनातनं सद्वेदान्तप्रवक्तारं सदा स्वान्ते स्मराम्यहं। गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ओं नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्मविद्यासम्प्रदायकर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषिभ्यो नमो महभ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ओम शांति शांति शांति। भगवान के अनुग्रह से हम ये वेदांत का विचार बारे में वो जो बेसिक विषय है उसके बारे में विचार करने के वक्त अवस्थात्रय प्रक्रिया जो है ये वो जो मांडव्य उपनिषद में है उसका थोड़ा विषय हम देख लिया था आज। एंड ऑल्सो वी हैव डन विद द स्टडी सर्कल ऑफ अवस्थात्रय प्रक्रिया also to some extent. So now we will see. So we saw more on that sushupti. I mean, more on the waking and sleep, waking and dream state, but not on the sleep. Gada nidra, that is deep sleep state. So that we will see how that concept is being told in one of the part of the Upanishad. In the Upanishad, this Avasthatraya Prakriya is told in many ways. So in one of the Brahmana, it starts with conversation of Kshatriya and a Brahmana. It starts with a story. The story goes like this. There was a king called Ajatashatru. Ajatashatru, that means that he didn't have any kind of enemies. Not only outside, inside also he didn't had any kind of enemies. That's why his name is Ajatashatru. And a Brahmana called Drupta Gargya Balaki. The name is big. Acharya will explain why the name Drupta Gargya Balaki. Drupta means he had an ego. That's why he is Drupta. His name is Gargya Balaki. So forefather name also will come in his name. That and all that detail, let us not go with those details. Let us now mention his name as Balaki. That's all. His name, the Brahmana name is Balaki. The king name is Ajatashatru. Okay. Once this Brahmana, that Balaki, went to the king Ajatashatru to teach Brahma Swarup. But this Brahman.
हेलो.
Yeah, tell
हेलो
me.
सर एक बार नेम फिर से बता दीजिएगा दोनों का.
Ajatashatru and Balaki, Drupta Gargya Balaki. ठीक है. बालाकी
सर बालाकी अजात शत्रु के पास गया था क्या?
हाँ, बालाकी अजातशत्रु के पास गया था. So he thought that he know Brahman, आत्म स्वरूप मतलब मोक्ष क्या है वो समझा था कि हमको इजी को उसको मालूम है. पर So he had only the knowledge of devatas and the ultimate devata. That is called Apara Brahma. When you say Brahma, there is two kind of Brahma. One is Apara Brahma, another is Parabrahma. Parabrahma is the ultimate moksha, whereas the Apara Brahma is Saguna Brahma and the ultimate Devata. Devata Prapti, the post of Devata or Devata Loka. That is the Apara Brahma. He knew Apara Brahma, but he had an impression that that is the ultimatum and I can teach to the king, Ajatashatru. Okay, he went to Ajatashatru. Ajatashatru welcomed him and that Gargya, that Balaki Gargya, he told that I want to teach Brahma Swarupa to you. Okay, so with all respect, Ajatashatru welcomed him and gave all kind of atitya, and he told to teach Brahma. Okay, so he started to teach Brahma. One after the other, when he started to teach, the king told that I know this. So you, which because what if you tell the things which I already know, it's of no use. That's why he told to continue. Okay, but there we will so there many conversation will happen. Many mantras are there. So explanation is required. What Gargya told and what Ajatashatru replied. Though I'm not going for all those things because it will take time. I just want to tell the gist of the story. Okay. So see, ultimately, that Brahmin realized that he doesn't know real Brahma Swarupa. That's why he will surrender to the king Ajatashatru and he will say that he will become his Shishya. Okay. So then that king will demonstrate. Okay. Instead of explaining, he will demonstrate that Avastatra Prakriya. Okay. So for that, what he will do, he will go outside the palace where the securities and all Sainikas will be there. One of the security or Sainika will be sleeping. Okay, that is called Supta Purusha. Supta Purusha in Sanskrit. Supta Purusha. That means the person who is sleeping. He will go to the person who is sleeping and in front of this Brahmin, he will call by his name. He will not wake up. He will call by the name of Devatas. He will not wake up. He will call by the name of ultimate Devata. He will not wake up. So later, he will go, he will touch and shake his body, the security guard body, and later that person will wake up and immediately you will see the king. Just imagine, he's not a supervisor, his king himself has come there. So later, so when he see the king, he will identify the entire psychophysical complex that this is me. After realizing, after identifying him, he will go away and he will be having the fear because the king is there in front of him. all those thing will come to him. Okay, so that is the incident. So with this incidents, there is many he will ask many questions. The answer for those questions are the upadesha. Okay, so first thing, the first question is, now when he told by his name, what name he might be, Devadatta or Yagnadatta or whatever, okay, he will not wake up. Why? That is first question. And also, why he called by the name of Devatas? The first question, so is, see, why he didn't responded when he called by his. No one in this world will take their identification and go to the sleep. If you go to the sleep with this identification, it can't be a sleep. Not only the humans, insect, starting from insect to the highest body, which is Hiranyagarbha, highest devatas, can't go with their identification to the sleep. So that king will not be a king in the sleep. The slave can't be a slave in the sleep. The security guard can't be a security guard in the sleep. All will become one in the sleep. So that's why he has not identified himself as the Devadatta or Yagnadatta or whatever his name. That is the reason. Okay? That is on that. But he was there. That Supta Purusha, he was there. He only after shaking his body, that person came and identified this with his body. Before that, that identification was not there. Now the identification has come. Okay. And also, why the king called by the name of Devatas? Because uh, uh, teaching by that Brahmana to the king, he mentioned many Devatas names, thinking that that is the ultimate Brahman. Okay. The question here, why the reason for calling those Devatas name is that if at all those Devatas were present in the Sushupti, then he would have been identified that Devatas by Devatas name. So that is because many explanation is there. I'm skipping all those things. Okay. So because you see, for us to live with this body, the help of Devatas is very much necessary. Due to the presence of all the Devatas, we are here, we are seeing, we are listening, we are touching everything. For example, to see, देखने के लिए आदित्य देवता का अनुग्रह चाहिए. Without the anugraha of Aditya Devata, we can't see. If you want to speak, बात करने के लिए अग्नि देवता का अनुग्रह चाहिए. अग्नि देवता का अनुग्रह नहीं है तो हम बात नहीं कर सकता. ऐसे टू लिजन दिक देवता का अनुग्रह चाहिए. वैसे ही त्वगेंद्री के लिए, कर्मेंद्री के लिए, सारे देवता लोग के प्रेजेंस से ही हम हैं यहाँ. सारे एक्टिविटीज हम कर सकता है. पर वो देवतास also, because what we know in this world is we just know that This body is there, that's all. He doesn't know the concept of devatas. Only through Shastra will know. That presence is there. Here also it is there, but devatas will be present all over. But devatas are always paroksha priya. That means they don't want to appear in anyone, in front of anyone. So if we want them to appear, we have to tell those mantras, then only they will come in the form. Otherwise, they will not come in the form. Okay, we leave that. So the thing is, when not only we, so we can say that we will not take our identification in the sleep. Those devatas also won't take their identification as the Agni Devata, Vayu Devata, Aditya Devata, and go to the sleep. Because in the sleep, all devatas identification will not be there. Okay? So then, after shaking his body, so then he will wake up. What is the meaning of that? Is the question. And also, further questions are also there. So today we will see this one. See, in Avastatraya Prakriya, there are two kind of Prakriyas. One is the normal Avastatraya Prakriya, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, through which witness principle, through the witnessing principle, so Atma Swarupa will be taught. And there is another Prakriya called Karya Karana Bhava Prakriya. What is that Karya Karana Bhava Prakriya? That means in Bhagavad Gita, Nasato Vidyate Bhava Nabhava Vidyate Sataha, while explaining in the Bhashya, Bhagavan Shankaracharya will say that the Asat is the one which has source. Asat is the one which has got Karana. असत वो चीज है, उस चीज का कारण रहता है. जो चीज को कारण होता है वो चीज असत है. मतलब क्या है? वो नहीं है. असत मतलब क्या है? वो नहीं है. जिस चीज को कारण है वो अपीयर होने के वक्त भी नहीं होता. मतलब क्या? ये पेन है. ये पेन, ये उद्भव मूर्ति नहीं है. ये पेन, ये बनाया हुआ है पेन. ये पेन बनाने के लिए उसका सोर्स है. ये प्लास्टिक है. प्लास्टिक पहले प्लास्टिक था. प्लास्टिक के पहले और कुछ था. वो सोर्स रहेगा उस पे. जिस चीज का सोर्स नहीं है तो वो ही सच है, वो ही सत्ता है. That the one which doesn't have any source or karana is sat, which is there. Okay, so now, so many points you have to keep in mind. Here our job is to identify the source, karan. Okay, so in प्रपंच में सारे चीज को कारण होता है ना. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मिट्टी, lump of clay. If we have a lump of clay, it will not be useful in the world. व्यवहार के लिए वो क्ले जो है उसका यूज नहीं होता है. उस क्ले का यूज करने के लिए क्या होना चाहिए? ये कार्य में आना चाहिए. कार्य मतलब क्या है? वो it has to come in the shape of pot और प्लेट, स्पून, मकड़ी, वो सभी चीज होना है। इसके लिए क्या करना है, हम उसको उसमें काम करना है। हम काम बिना काम करने से वो कार्य रूप से बदल नहीं सकता। ठीक है। So if you keep lump of clay and if you observe that, it will not become pot. For clay to become a pot, it is required to have some external force, external activity. Okay. So external activity can be, it is called sadhana, sahakari sadhana. That means, so to know, to do that, so if there is a kumbara, it's the one who makes the pot, so he has to use certain things to make it as a pot, like that stick he has to use, he has to have a rotating device. Device is required. That is called sahakari sadhanas. Sahakari sadhanas. And he is the one. He is also one of the sadhana, the one, that pot maker. It is required. Correct. After doing those activities, then only the pot will come. That will be a karya. The clay is karana. Pot, plate, everything is a karya. Okay. So this karya can be used, is useful in the world. प्रपंच में हम यूज कर सकता है, पर वो कारण रूप में है तो यूज नहीं कर सकता. But the value is only for the karana roop. For example, another example, there is a gold, lump of gold, biscuit or whatever you call. Gold, when it is made to ornaments can be used. Not only the ornaments, in the mobile technology, mobile and other electronics devices also, they will use some amount of gold. Okay. So that means when it comes to karya, then only that gold will come into use. So no one can wear the gold lump or gold biscuits to anywhere. Even if they wear, no one will give value to them. So it can't be wear. That is the thing. Okay. So, but the value will be for the karana, that is gold. Even though it has come in different form, the value will give only to the karana. But when it is in to any kind of example, these are all only two examples. In the world, you take any kind of example, if the thing, if it is in a source form, karana, it can't be used in any kind of vyavahara, prapanchik vyavahara. Correct? So that's why the value will be only for the karana. And after the external force, that is kriya. Kriya. You understand that term. Okay. Kriya, we have to do the kriya for the lump of gold. If there is a lump of gold, on that you have to do a kriya using karaka. You have to do the work. You can't just do the work without having any means, By using the equipments The gold maker, he will use many equipments to make the ornaments. That is called karaka, different type of karaka. And from that, he will get the result, that is phala. So there will be a kriya using karaka, and then he will get a phala, the result. That is called karya. Okay. And another example I will tell. Okay. Imagine there is a fountain. Fountain will be a water fountain. The water fountain, and also another thing. First thing is that, okay, it will not be of use. We can't use that material when it is in form of karana is one. And second thing is that when it is in the form of the source, when it is in the form of source, pressure, kriya, karka, phala, and then one thing I want to tell, another thing. Okay, if I remember, I will tell that. External force should happen, and then okay, I will remember that and I will tell you. Okay. So now that is called, that is under drishtanta. Okay. When it comes to drashtanta, the drashtanta, what will happen is here, when in the sushupti, he was in the form of source. He had become one with ultimate Brahma Swarupa. Okay. So he will not be useful for the Vyavahara. Brahma Swarupa, when it is in Karana form, it can't be used in the Vyavahara. So that's why there was an external force. Kriya. What is that Kriya? He went and shaked his body. Kriya. Kriya happened. After the Kriya happened, he identified himself as a body, mind, and intellect. Okay. So that has become phala. He done kriya using karaka and the karya form. That is the identification of himself happened. So with that, so he had a delusion that adhyasa, everything came, and he will be useful for the vyavahara. He continued himself as a security. All the concept came into picture. When me notion comes, all the things which is related to him, it will come. Okay. So that's why. And here is a question. Okay. If it is clear till now, I will continue. Do you have any question? Okay. So then he will ask one basic question. That king will ask one basic question. When this person was sleeping, कहा था सुषुप्ति के वक्त, वो कहा था अब आफ्टर टेकिंग हिज आइडेंटिफिकेशन कहाँ से आया? अभी तक कहा था कहाँ से आया? क्वैशतदाभूत उत एतत् आगात्. क्वैशतदाभूत in Sanskrit, क्वैशतदाभूत means वो कहा था सुषुप्ति के वक्त, वो कहा था क्वैशतदाभूत उत एतत् आगात्. कहाँ से आया is the basic question. Okay. ये क्या है? पूर्व पक्षी आस, ये क्या है? ये कहाँ से आया? कहा वो जो गया था वहीं से आया हुआ होगा. What a nonsense question is this? वो दृष्टांत ठीक है. हाँ, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, if I leave home today morning at 6 o'clock and reach some other place, whether it can be a Delhi, Andhra Pradesh or whatever, and if I come back home at night, I can say that I went to Kolkata by flight and came from Kolkata to my Bangalore. In example, that is fine. Will that be applicable in here in the Drashtanta also? कैसा?
क्योंकि सर देश और काल परिच्छिन्न।
देश काल परिच्छिन्न नहीं है यहाँ, क्योंकि सुषुप्ति और जागृत ये डिस्टेंस रहेगा. कोलकाता के लिए डिस्टेंस रहेगा. डिस्टेंस है क्या? सुषुप्ति और जागृत डिस्टेंस है, सुषुप्ति और जागृत को. एंड व्हाट इज द टाइम we take to travel from waking to sushupti? How much time take you will travel? But still we will make that statement ना. कहाँ से आया? मैं नींद से आया, मैं स्वप्न से आया, मैं नींद से आया, कर रहा था. We will also use that term ना. क्या कर रहा था? मैं नींद कर रहा था. कर रहा था मतलब क्या है? हम क्या काम कर रहा था क्या सुषुप्ति में? जैसे हम लड्डू बनाता है ना, लड्डू बना के जैसे बनाते हैं ना, ऐसे हम क्या काम कर रहा था सुषुप्ति में. बट स्टिल वी विल यूज दोस वर्ड्स दैट नींद कर रहा था. क्या करने के लिए क्या है वहां? So see, we can't define anything, but words we have to, we are using those words, but it can't be conveyed by any words, but still we are using those words. सुषुप्ति को डिफाइन करने के लिए वर्ड्स नहीं है, but still we are using that. That's why वहां सुषुप्ति में कोई नहीं था. या कोई मतलब क्या है? यहाँ का जो अनुभव हो रहा है ना, ये सभी अध्यास के बाद जो जो वस्तु हमको दिख रहा है, ये सभी चीजें वहां सुषुप्ति में नहीं था. मतलब क्या? वो मूल कारण स्वरूप में था. हम ये नहीं बोलता है कि मिट्टी नहीं है, मकड़ी में मिट्टी नहीं है. हम ये नहीं बोलता है ना, मकड़ी है. मट्टी और मिट्टी को अलग में हम नहीं कर सकता है. उसके पहले मिट्टी था, उसके बाद ही मकड़ी आया. मकड़ी से पहले मिट्टी था, उसके बाद ही मकड़ी आया. ऐसे जैसे हम जागृत और स्वप्नावस्था, we have to include both, ड्यूअल द्वैत प्रपंच. dual world. There's no differentiation here. We are only contemplating the Vyakta and Avyakta. That's all. This is Vyakta. Before Vyakta, it was in the form of Avyakta. It was in the form of Avyakta doesn't mean that nothing is there, but it was in the form of Karana. That's all. Okay. And okay. And so now, okay, that is on that where he was. Where he was. And from him only all this entire world has come. Sarve lokaha, sarve devaha, all the world has emanated from him. All jivas are emanated from him. How has it emanated? From where he came, where he was, from where he came, is there any process which has happened? Nothing. So that is the basic question, two question, which we have to contemplate on it. So that's why Shruti will leave to us to contemplate. If we don't know answer, then it will start to explain. हम कहा था सुषुप्ति के वक्त, सुषुप्ति के वक्त हम था, सबको भूल गया मतलब क्या है? भूल गया भी गलत बात है. भूल मतलब क्या होता है? भूल गया मतलब जागृत अवस्था का सीमा में है. मैं भूल गया, ये भूल नहीं है. नींद भूल नहीं है, because it's not a kind of memory. Memory will come in the mind. The mind is in the realm of waking state. You have not forgotten anything. So we were there. We left all our identification. We left all our worries. Why? Because that is the anugraha. Bhagavan ka anugraha hai wo. Bhagavan will always, daily, he will take us in himself, so that once we wake up, we should able to identify him. For that purpose, he has given the deep sleep state. But what we will name that as नींद कर रहा था हम. नींद मतलब क्या है? वो कुछ भी यूजफुल नहीं है. हम कमाई नहीं कर सकता वहां. हम डेफिनेशन ऐसा दिया है, हम वो निद्रा तामसिक रूप ऐसा है हमारा डेफिनेशन. बट श्रुति का डेफिनेशन क्या है? उपनिषद का डेफिनेशन क्या है? वो अनुभव, हमारा अनुभव क्या है? उसको हम ठीक तरफ से समझना है. क्या बोलता है श्रुति? सुषुप्ति मतलब स्वम ही अपीतो भवति सुषुप्ति. स्वम मतलब क्या है? हमारा रियल नेचर स्वम. अपीतो, we had become one with ourselves. Swam hi apito, we had become one with our own nature, our own real nature. that our own real nature, pure real self, pure being, we had become one with our pure being. So there, आनंद के बिना कुछ भी नहीं था. In the lump of salt, crystal salt, wherever you taste, it will still be salt only. There will be nothing apart from salt. Likewise, in the Sushupti, there was nothing apart from Ananda bliss. But just by the name of Shastra, just by listening to the Shastra, we can't just say that, yes, I was Brahmaswarupa, now also I am Brahmaswarupa. No. Unless and until you are naming that as Sushupti, Nidra, that means Nidra, वो निद्रा होता है. What we will tell, वो अभाव है. जागृत का अभाव है, अभाव नहीं है वो. भाव मतलब वही वो हम हमारा नेचर था वो. That is why we always measure from the waking state. If we measure from the waking state, इसका अभाव था. अभाव है क्या? हमारा स्वरूप नींद वो अभाव है क्या? नहीं. So that's why we have to correctly contemplate. Without contemplating, we shouldn't declare anything. वो श्रुति ने बोला है, मैं हमारा गुरुजी बोला है, सुषुप्ति में मूल स्वरूप में था, इसलिए मैं अभी मूल स्वरूप में है. नहीं, ये नहीं है. We have to take a standpoint in that. After coming to Sushupti, see, there is no coming and going, but you have to use that word. You can't explain anything without using that word. After waking up from Sushupti, we will not continue to take that essence of Sushupti. What is that essence of Sushupti? The Brahma Swarup, that being, the nature of being has continued here also. The bliss, the Ananda Swarupa, that will not change. If the clay changes to the pot, the nature of being a clay will not change. It can be used to anywhere. ऐसा ही हम we can continue our life only. Okay, if we realize our own self, ऐसा नहीं है कि हमको बहुत सारा कुछ अलग से होता है. ये जो सिद्धि होता है, सिद्धि पद्धि वो कोई नहीं होता है. हम जैसे था वैसे ही हमारा लाइफ कंटिन्यू होगा. हम if we are like in the example, if it is security, he will continue as a security. If it is a king, he will continue as a king. Like that also will continue what we were before, but go with the source. We'll identify our source. Once we identify and our source and continue to be in this world, it will not going to affect you, because you will realize here your nature is not is it, that doesn't have any kind of birth. If birth itself is not there, death also is not there. Na jayate, mriyate va kadachin. Na jayate, no birth at all, no death at all. But still you are living, you can ask, but still you are living now. For him, if you ask if you are still living, for him living and dying, everything is same. Because live, as per you, living means what? The karya. As per him, karana itself is real. You are looking from the standpoint of karya and saying that you are living. For him, there is no question of living at all. So there is a question of death. Okay. That's why if we contemplate properly that Koisha Tadabhut, where we were first, if you realize that we were realize in the sense, so in the mind, so we so see what has happened is we have got multiple thoughts in our mind. If we have multiple thoughts in our mind, so we can't able to contemplate the statements of Shruti. So that's why the sadhanas has been told. Karma yoga, upasana, etc. etc. That I will take through. The different kind of sadhanas. Okay. After doing sadhanas, with a purified mind, if you contemplate these things, so we can able to follow the Shruti statement and take standpoint in ourselves. Okay. Unless and until if you are naming that Sushupti, our real nature, as just a sleep, you can't realize. But with taking the help of Shruti Vakya and Acharya's explanation, Guru's explanation, you have to properly contemplate the Shruti. So the source, वह सोर्स नहीं था, किसका सोर्स है, इसका सोर्स है, ये बॉडी का सोर्स है, हम कहाँ से आया है? अद्वयंच द्वयाभासम गौड़पाद का कार्यक्रम में है, अद्वय स्वरूप है हम. अद्वय मतलब क्या है? द्वैत नहीं है. कहाँ द्वैत नहीं होता? हमारे एक्सपीरियंस में नींद में द्वैत भाव नहीं था, अद्वय स्वरूप था हमका. क्या? द्वयाभासम. द्वया मतलब ड्यूअल में और प्रपंच ऐसा आया. कहा? समझो कि ड्रीम में. So once you sleep, once you go to the bed, immediately you will not get a dream. Okay, one has to go to sleep, then only he will get a dream. Okay, advayancha द्वयाभास, ड्यूअलिटी का आभास हो गया. ठीक है, वो आभास ही है ना. स्वप्न मतलब क्या है? वो द्वैत भाव का आभास था. इट अपीयर्ड. ओके, हम नींद में हमारा द्वय स्वरूप में ही था, वह द्वयाभास, द्वैत का आभास हुआ था. ठीक है, पर if we come to the waking state, we will not tell that as a dvayabhasa. Immediately what will happen? We will recognize with this body. We will leave that source completely and we will take a standpoint here. We will shift our source. We will shift our identification. There your this identity had lost. You are there in your real identity, which is our Brahmaswarupa. When you come to the waking state, you will say, I'm this, I'm so, and so I have got this, those things and all. Okay? Just like what has happened in the Drishtanta. So, in the Shruti also it is told, Acharya also has written a lengthy bhashya on that. Okay, so we're not going to those bhashya now. So in Prabhuddhananda Swami ji ka wo teachings hai, you can see that. Okay, but just see, just to give an idea, I've given this example, that's all. Just imagine, just like in the example, we have not gone anywhere. But here, in our deep sleep state, we had become one with our own real nature. But what made us to come in this form? Okay, that is Kriya Karka. That means not Papa or Punya. Whatever you have done, that is Kriya Karaka. That will make us to wake up. Okay, it will be of useful in the Vyavahara. Okay, पाप पुण्य ही वो कार्य है, और जो सभी कार्य जो दिख रहा है वो पाप और पुण्य का फल है. The thing is, we can't exhaust papa punya. So one can't say, I will exhaust all papa punya. Then I can realize, no, that will never happen. The only way is, at the time of experiencing this papa punya, at the time of this life journey as a result of papa punya, at the time itself, we have to identify our source. That is the only way. When you identify with your source, so this papa punya will not affect you. That's why Shruti says, Ashariram, Ashariri को न प्रिया प्रिय स्पृशतः. सशरीरी हो तो, सशरीरी मतलब क्या है? शरीर भाव जो उनको रहेगा वो प्रिया अप्रिया. प्रिया मतलब क्या है? पुण्य का फल. अप्रिया मतलब पाप का फल. वो होगा, मार देगा उनको. प्रिया अप्रिया फल सशरीरी के लिए. अशरीरी को वो नहीं होता. अशरीरी मतलब क्या है? क्वेश्चन वही है. अशरीरी मतलब क्या है? अशरीरी मतलब क्या? मर जाना? नहीं, मरने के बाद ये कंटिन्यू होगा, पुनर्जन्म होगा. अशरीरी मतलब क्या है? वो सोर्स. मैं जो एग्जाम्पल दिया था ना, क्रियाकार का फल जो है उसके बाद ही कार्य होगा. क्रियाकारक से फल, फल मतलब क्या है? कार्य. ये पाप पुण्य से ही हम ये सभी जीवन बीत रहा है. हम सभी जीवन प्रारब्ध कर्म जो है वो सारा पाप लिखा. We have to in a way. It will not, if time comes to enjoy that papa wherever you are, it will not leave. If time comes to enjoy the result of punya whatever might be your situation, that happiness will happen as a result of punya. Okay. In this journey itself, if you identify your source, that is, your source is already there. You are experiencing the source daily in the Sushupti. Don't name as nothing or tamasic roop. It's of no use. No. If you tell Sushupti of no use, you are of no use. So that's why contemplate on it. Where we have come? Huh? Have we come from Sushupti? No journey from Sushupti. So then, what has happened now? Nothing has happened now also. We are in the same form. Just realize it. Just take a standpoint. Nothing is impossible. But we should have steadfastness. हमारा मन दृढ़ होना है, शक्ति होना है मन को. उसके लिए ही सारा उपासना भक्ति है. ये अभय स्वरूप है. उसका प्राप्ति करने के लिए ही हम यहाँ आया है. वो ही हमारा गोल है. और परमात्मा के बिना ये नहीं हो सकता. We have to surrender to the God. We have to pray to the God. From Him only it will happen. Okay, those and all is about just a glance about that story which is told in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, to know something on that Sushupti and how the teaching is there from the standpoint. Shruti has told by taking Sushupti and the waking and dream state, both. It will consider both as a dual states. Okay, that is on that. So tomorrow we will do that 5 concept of 5 basis concept of Vedanta, and then we will see what else we can do. Okay. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Am Sharshibhyo Namo Mahabhyo Namo Gurubhya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.